What's up, Sim Racers? It's Larry at TJR Sim here, and picked up this ROG Ally. I don't know if you've heard of this thing yet, but it's ROG Ally from Asus. Pretty cool little handheld, and I'll give you some premises why I bought this. But this video will cover some accessories you should probably think about getting, and some pluses and minuses about this ROG Ally itself for, you know, a normal, I don't know, normal, but a full-sized adult with big hands, right? So let's get into it. Okay, first up, let's go about comfort. So, and aesthetics of this actually device, right? So aesthetically, it looks nice. It feels nice in your hands. When you hold it, you kind of, I end up trying to grab it like this, which is nice that these are chamfered, nice chamfers here. When I play, I tend to play like this because I have a better location of where this lower thumbstick is, right? And then as opposed to the upper one over here. So, and then when you look at the back, you know, my fingers are always covering these two buttons, which I don't really use except for shortcuts right now. But yeah, I could totally see if I'm playing Call of Duty or something like that, I could use this as the prone position to easily go down, which I really enjoy on my Elite controller here, because I would just snap this prone, you know, go prone here with the Elite controller, nice and easy, without having to reach somewhere on the thumb pads itself. But comfort-wise, you're supposed to, I guess, kind of hold it like this, is what I saw someone, but you can see my hands are too damn big for that kind of hold. So you tend to, if you hold it like this, which kind of shows your back fingers laying across this way, and so you can, same thing on this side, your back fingers are kind of going across in this manner, right? It makes sense. It fits right into those back grooves just fine. And if you do hold it like this, it's actually more comfortable in the long run. But if you have bigger hands like me, you can see your thumbs are like laying on a short bed in your room and your feet hanging off the end, right? So this isn't very comfortable in that manner. So for bigger hand people, I tend to rock it a little bit like this and put my hands against these little angles here, which I'm super glad they're there. They must have thought about that for some bigger hand people. I think in the beginning I was looking forward to the Steam Deck because of the size of it being bigger to fit my hands and be able to play for longer times. But reality is I'm an adult and I got stuff to do. And if I can knock out 30 minutes here and there of gameplay, this thing rocks it. And this gives me the best bang for my buck in that 30 minutes, right? The amount of fun I have with this compared, I think, with probably a Steam Deck is maybe surpassed. But with that said, it is a Windows device as well, as opposed to Steam Deck is a Steam OS. So sometimes, like when I turn on my big old PC over there to play some sim racing, you gotta spend 30 minutes on doing updates and crap like that. So yeah, okay. So I digress. Anyway, comfort-wise, this is really good. The buttons feel, I don't have any problems. I've heard people saying these buttons stick. You hear them? They sound nice, clicky. Those are real nice. D-pad's pretty silent. I don't have any problem with the D-pad. There's some people that don't like the D-pad for some reason. I think when you roll in it like this, but I actually loaded up an older game, Pac-Man, Dig Dug and stuff, and Dig Dug's kind of hard to roll between the two, but Pac-Man works really good. I think it's more of the controls in the game of Dig Dug as opposed to Pac-Man's a little bit more accurate. But yeah, I know, an old game, but that's about how I can tell about how easily it is to use this D-pad in the manner that I would use it in, and works fine. It's not, I don't know, probably as comfortable as this Elite controller with this extra, you know, accessory I put on it, right? But yeah, it's not. So maybe they make an accessory for this other one. I don't know. But as it is, I don't normally play with the D-pad too much anyways. But when I do, it's comfortable enough to get the job done. Thumbsticks, nice clicky feeling. The triggers has some good amount of motion to them here. Let's see if I can get it in the camera here. And then of course the left and right buttons. They feel nice too. Got a good tactile click to them. So I know that was blurry, but such as cameras sometimes. Now, comfort-wise, I like it. It's good. Could it be better? Yes. If I was to rate this, you know, I don't know, 1 out of 10, 10 being the best, comfort for me would be like a 7. So, not bad, above average, and not a deal breaker for me either. So, I do look forward to maybe them coming out with some grips for these things, a little bit wider grips for us bigger hand people. So, all right. And as far as the buttons go, the tactile feel of the buttons feel really good. I like all that. Now, let's move on to, that covers aesthetics, and I cover the comfort of the thing. Let's talk about heat dissipation on this thing. So, when we're looking at here, you got this exhaust vents out the back, which is fine, and you're pulling in intake through here. So, if you were to set this down and let it download games and stuff, you don't really have to worry about you choking off airflow, which that's nice, right? You would want that as opposed to, I don't know, maybe a Nintendo Switch or something. I don't know if it has the vents back there or not. I simply can't use a Nintendo Switch because it's too tiny. It's just like my PS Vita I had. I got rid of it too because it was just too tiny, even though I enjoyed the screen of it a lot and the gameplay. But anyway, so no choking off airflow. So if you're sitting on the couch instead of down on a blanket, then yeah, you might have some problems, but just something to keep in mind. The exhaust out here is fine. Now, as far as the rest of the heat goes, it works good. I mean, nothing feels hot. You just feel like you can pick this thing up and start playing it, and you're not getting overheated in your hands or grips, or your hands aren't getting sweaty or anything like that. But if you set this down and you're downloading games and stuff, I would suggest picking it up in this manner, where you're going to pick it up, or, you know, pick it up from the sides. But a lot of times it's sitting on the end table charging. Yeah, because you have to charge this thing a lot. But I'll reach down here, and while it's downloading games, I usually leave it plugged in when I download games, and I'll turn the sleep mode off when it's plugged in. That way it'll continue to download games. But if you grab it here across the vents, you will burn your fingers. It gets freaking hot at these vents. Just, you know, it's an exhaust pipe, right? So heat's got to go somewhere. So that would be something I'd be careful of. Also on heat, if you're using a bag like this, right, the one that you can get with this device, I would make sure I turn this thing completely off before you put it in your bag, because if you seal this up and it's on sleep mode and it's still pumping out a bunch of heat, I'm afraid you may start damaging your device when it's closed up in sleep mode. So with that said, make sure that your lights are completely off before you stick it in your bag before you go, right? All right, so that covers aesthetics and the comfort level and the heat dissipation. Did I say that right? Dissipation? Okay, so let's go over some accessories. All right, accessory-wise, and we'll cover functions of this device. This is your power on button for your hello, your volume. You got your USB-C right here, and then their proprietary for the external graphics card, which is great. SD card. I opted for a 1 terabyte Extreme. It was around 120 bucks for it, but I have 25, 26 games on this thing between this card and the 512 internal. Plenty, in my opinion, plenty of games to rock around, and a lot of these games are AAA games. There's only maybe four of them that are low, low megabytes or low gigabyte games. Let's say five that are low megabyte or low gigabyte games, right? Talk about 1 gig or so. But yeah, it's expansion wise, 1 terabyte. In this, and then you got a 512 gigabyte in there. So that is plenty to me. The nice thing is you can take this apart. There's plenty of videos to show you on how to do that and replace the internal SSD. I like that for future proof if you ever do have an SD go out. I'm not apt to do that to this new device because I already paid for the 512 that's in here. So I'm not gonna throw away my money. I'm just gonna utilize this one and get a 1 terabyte here SSD or SD rather, mini SD. You could actually Velcro you a little, I wouldn't cover the vents, but maybe somewhere here in this area, Velcro you a Samsung SD on the back and then run a loop up here and have that as another device. After all, this is just a mini laptop. So, but functional wise, yeah, this is with your accessories and stuff is really good. Let me see, before I dive into the actual function and goods and bads of this machine when you're actually in use, let me cover the accessories that I think you should look at. All right, some accessories. You get this little paper mache holder that comes with your device. I actually think it's nice. It's a nice adder. It's something they didn't have to do, and most companies don't give you a stand anyways, but I think it would have been better if they charged, you know, another 20 bucks for the device and put a kick out stand out here. But I can understand them leaving this to the accessories aftermarket departments to do that as well, because after all, a lot of people will put cases on these things or grips, and that's just something else to cut out. So there's some goods and bads on it. So, but this is sufficient. It's very light. Throw it in your bag when you want to go, but you'll tear it up eventually, I would imagine. So, so accessory wise, that comes with it. It comes with this 65 watt charger. I wish they actually had this where it would fold in. It doesn't. It sticks out, so it's kind of a pain to have in your bag, or if you were to carry it in your pocket. The accessory that you get for the dock, rather. That one folds out properly, which it should, right? But yeah, the cord, this one I actually leave plugged into my couch, beside my couch rather. And this cord is quite long, and so a good 6 foot cord right here. And so yeah, plenty of room to wrap up the side of your couch and play some more games while you're sitting there in the living room, instead of it being stuck at your desk playing games and stuff. So obviously this comes with it. The little stand comes with it. You're good to go. I'm glad they at least put some Velcro in here to keep everything nice and tidy, so you can throw this in your bag. For me, I travel, and this is really the main reason why I got this device, is for traveling, because I wanted to be able to hook it up to a TV at a hotel and play some AAA titles on a bigger screen. And I wanted as much power as I possibly could get, like a laptop, but not have to carry around a big, heavy laptop. I wanted something light I can carry around, game on the plane for these, you know, long flights that I take, and yeah, be fine. So comes with that. Obviously, the accessory I would recommend as well is the ROG one. This one actually works really good. Dock it up HDMI 2.0 to your monitor. I'm using it to a 4K monitor in front of me, but I've plugged it into 1080p monitors. It doesn't really matter, you know, it works. Plug it into TV, just works. This one I have a little USB dongle here. This is for a keyboard and mouse setup, and then of course this is your USB-C that plugs into your device itself, and of course it folds up, and it comes with another really nice braided cord, USB-C on both sides, and they put a nice little tidy wrap system on it. So this I highly recommend, of course, to get with it. It is, of course, going to work properly with your device, so you don't ever void any warranties or not. If you're concerned about that, not sure. But what you also will need is a keyboard and mouse. I'll put a link in the description here to this. It's on Amazon. I think it was 20 bucks for this. And I actually had a bigger keyboard and a little mouse to the side that you can do Bluetooth with, and that works good too. This one I thought was supposed to be Bluetooth, but turned out it was USB only, and it comes with its own little carrying spot, so you could put your USB device in here, store it away. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Oops, there we go. But this works wonderfully well. This is your little mouse on the screen, and of course, you know, you got your keys and stuff. I got left click here, right click here. This is pretty nice to have. What I've noticed is when you dock this thing up to a bigger TV, you lose some functionality on the Armoury Crate software, to where you can move your mouse around on the screen and on the device. And so I'm looking for a space to go click on something on the screen, but I don't have the resources here, because this screen goes black, or unless you mirror it, but a lot of times it goes black between the last time I set up, so I can go higher resolution on the monitor till it upscales properly, right? But if you just do a mirror image, of course, then you'll have some functionality on this screen. But, you know, anyway, I digress. I think for 20 bucks, this fits in your bag really nice. Throw it in there. You got this in here. You don't need to carry this one with you. This one I would just leave at home. This is all you would really need to travel with, is this. And of course, obviously that in your case, right? So, oh, and one more thing. You'll need an HDMI cable. So this HDMI 2.0, this works great. Nice nylon braided cord. Folds up nice and easy, nice and small. So I like that. Throw it in your bag, super light. A lot better than the older HDMI cords you used to have. I used to have to get, right? But yeah, I would throw this in the link too. The one I got works fine. Proving it out. You're gonna want a little rag, of course, to clean your screen, because you get smudges all over it. And of course, a case. A case like this is the Asus one that comes with it. Some people say it's a little gamery. I think it's kind of cool. I know when I'm setting this somewhere, I know which case my Asus is in. Easily grab it and let it go. Now, the case is kind of pity. It has this little feature here, a little Velcro up here, and a little Velcro spot here, and it does that, right? And so the idea is you can grab your your device and set it in there, and it works as a dock. That works pretty cool. And then you could use another controller here if you wanted to play with a controller. Speaking of controllers, if you have an Xbox Series X or the regular S, get you a Bluetooth Xbox controller. Just carry that with you. Throw that in your bigger luggage, maybe not in your duffel bag that you carry on the plane, so you don't have extra weight. Always look for not to have extra weight to carry around when I'm walking through the airport. So I'd throw this. I'd actually throw all these accessories that I just showed you in that bag, in my bag that's going to go on underneath the plane, right? And then just carry this in my duffel bag. But yeah, this one works good. Bluetooth. The Elite, I have the Elite controller, of course, and that one doesn't work with this one unless you use the USB device on it, because this is not the Bluetooth one. The Elite 2 is where they have the Bluetooth. So keep that in mind. If you have an old Elite one, that one won't work, so you'll need the newer Elite, or just grab your $50 Xbox controller. Works real good. And it stays paired up in there. You know, just it's a Windows device, automatically recognizes it when you hit the pairing button and pair it up. Easy peasy. What else? So this case, now go back to this case. This is how it works. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. But this is enough to, I just put my instructions for the keyboard just in case I forget or have a mental fart, but I'll slide them in there. You got some room for some SD cards here. If you're carrying multiple SD cards, some people I know like to put a whole game on one of them, and they'll have several little 128 gigabyte ones or something. So that works there. This slot's a little bit bigger, a little bit deeper, only goes that far in. And then of course this folds flat. Your device fits in here nice. Has these indentions here, which always kind of confuses me which way I put this in for some reason. But you know, you're gonna flip it in this way, line the holes up like that, close it up and go. You're not gonna fit an extra, and it's nice, sturdy. I like the logo on here actually. You're not gonna fit extra cords or anything in this. I wouldn't even bother with it. Just SD cards and obviously your device itself. So this is pretty minimal. It's a nice case. It feels nice and sturdy in there. It feels like it's protected. I'm ultimately gonna throw this in a big backpack and carry that around with me, right? So all in all, great accessory list. Oh, one last accessory I would recommend. I got it off of Amazon. I'll drop the link in the to it, but the screen cover here is another thing. Oh, this is the startup. Actually, I hit the power button. This is a startup for it. Looks pretty cool. But yeah, the screen cover that I have for it, it doesn't cover all the way from the top and bottom. Early release, you know, they say it works for the ROG Ally and blah blah blah, and they lie. It does work, I guess, technically, but it doesn't cover the full screen. So I'll put that in the link, but look, you know, depending on when you see this video, there's probably going to be some that are actually all the way fully 100% covered. I look for the ones that actually have a little template where you can snap on here and set it on there to be perfectly aligned before you push in the center and it expands out. But yeah. So now that I got this on, we'll go into the features of this up next. Oh, and one last thing. I almost forgot before I go in complete doing accessories is I got this 65 watt charger, battery charger. This will actually work. I'll carry this on the plane. It's too heavy to me, in my opinion, carrying it around, but you know, it'll get the job done. 65 watts, just give you another couple hours of gameplay. When you're like me and going to Germany or Europe, UK and stuff, you know, it's an 11-hour flight, 10 hours one way, you know, 11 hours the other way. It's if I can break up the monotony of sitting on a plane for an hour at one point and then another hour later and then another hour with this, man, it is golden to be able to do that. So yeah, this one, you just turn it on, gives you a good indication of the percentage that you already have on it, so you know before you charge it and go. And of course, you know, plug. This was a two-way, so this cord that comes with it will charge it. It doesn't come with a outlet, so you have to supply that yourself. But then, of course, this will plug into your Ally like that, and you'll see it pop up and start to charge. There it goes green. It's charging, just like that. Starts charging. There you go. We're still at 100%, obviously, but works really good. That is for traveling people, that's probably a must-have. So, all right, now we'll go on to the actual machine itself. All right, so on to the Asus ROG Ally itself. I love it. It's a lot of fun to play. I like to sit on the couch. I'm still kind of around my wife and my kids. They're all on their devices anyway. We're pretending to watch TV, but we're all on our devices, but we're at least in the same room. I'm not often in another room playing video games, which I do as well when I get the chance, but as you know, it's a sim racing channel. But what I'm most interested in on this game is racing games, and ones that I wouldn't necessarily play with on the big rig with the direct drive wheel as much. Like Grid, this old Grid Autosports, one of my favorite games. Plays amazing on this device. Another one, Project Cars 3 plays pretty good on this device. I can tell why Project Cars 3 was developed. It works really good with handhelds and phones and stuff, so I understand that. Hot Wheels Unleashed, another great one. F122, that's fun. WRC 10's a little challenging to play because of the thumbsticks. I'll get into that in a second. And then Grid Legends, amazing on this device. MotoGP 22, awesome on this device. Ride 4, it's okay. It's not as good as I thought it would be on here. The graphics aren't quite as popping as, say, like Grid Legends would be, or for that matter, since it's a motorcycle game, MotoGP 22. So, you know, it's a very older game, but it still looked great on here. And I'm not going to jump in all these games. If you want some actual gameplay of these games, hit me up in the comments and I'll show you some actual gameplay. But right now we're just kind of covering the bases here. Other games that work good on here is Psychonauts 2. It's a nice short player game. I like that game a lot. Of course, Forza Horizon 5 works really good on here. Forza Horizon 5, just for instance, when I first booted it up on this device, I was getting 122 FPS in turbo mode and 60 FPS in performance mode. So on this thing, if you don't know, you have silent right here, performance, and you don't even have to touch the screen. You can just use your D-pads to kind of keep it clean. And then you got turbo mode, 25 watts. When you're plugged in, turbo mode will go up to 30 watts. Actually, it'll go all the way up, boost all the way up to 53 watts now after some of the updates they had. And you can, of course, go ahead and I have a manual here, which shows 15 watts right here. Interestingly, when you set up these devices, these manuals and stuff, it recognizes that I don't have power to it. So my manual will default to the settings I have without power. And then when I have power on it, it'll go back and default to the settings that I have manually when plugged in. So that's and I didn't have to do anything to do that. It just did it. So that was just something I observed for it. And then 10 watts silent. Silent is really for web browsing and all that, letting you you know, watch some movies and stuff like that, which I don't do on here. But anyway, I digress. Motorsport, Forza Motorsport 7, awesome. High for Life, awesome. Moving Out comes with the game, with it. It's okay game, plays awesome though. Dirt 5, I haven't played that one yet, so I don't know yet. Doom I haven't played yet. Live Lock I haven't played yet, but it was a pretty cool looking side scroller, top down platform. Wreckfest I haven't played yet, so I don't know. Hunter I just got, and Ori I just got too. So I downloaded quite a few games on here, as you can see, and you can actually sort by and recently played, and these are the categories, right? Recently added it. Platform's kind of cool because it divides up how many games you have. So Steam, I got 15 games. Ubisoft is 1 game. Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 works really good. You need to set your dead zones on this thing because these sticks are too damn sensitive for shooters, in my opinion. But once you kind of set them right, which I grabbed from another YouTuber, they work good. Which was basically 2080 was 20% for the initial setting and then 80 for the other. Here, let me show you what that is. Oh, wrong button. Armoury crate. Go to right bumper rather. Go to settings, configurations, and go to there. And when you go to your left stick, right stick, it was your dead zone. That's what it was. So my top dead zone for left and right stick would be 20, and then my outer threshold was 80. This works really good for shooters on this, is what I found when you're doing that. So screenshot that, try that out if you feel like it's too sensitive. It actually works really good for driving games too, just the same. Again, left right button switches between game library, settings, and content. I won't go into all this because it's 1,000 YouTube videos already out there, but I will say when you first get it, go to the update center and do all your updates. Check it periodically because you'll see some come in as updates. You just hit check for updates and let her rip, right? Well, while I'm on the subject of updates, you'll want to see, here's the mouse button working for us. You'll want to go over here to your Windows, which is kind of a finicky, right? Left bumper will pull that up, and you can do this here, left bumper again, and then go to Windows Update right there. Everything's on the screen. Check for updates and let her go, right? So these are the two things. Keep in mind, since I'm talking about updates real quick, this is a laptop PC. I spent 3 hours updating this thing. Now, I'm a geek, and I don't mind it so much. I just kind of roll through the updates, let it do all its restarts, and then I actually started downloading a bunch of games. And I wait. I played it actually the first day after about 4 hours of having it, right? Doing updates and then downloading Forza Motorsports. And that's the one where I got the 111 or so FPS plugged in and 60 FPS not plugged in, or on performance mode rather. So anyway, keep in mind, it's going to take you a while to set up. It's not a big deal. Steam Deck had its problems in the beginning. This isn't really a problem. This is a normal laptop. This is the crap you go through with normal Windows laptops, is you spend 2-3 hours doing updates. Then after that, you rock and roll. As the updates roll out, it updates it automatically if you set it that way. Yeah, it's not a big deal, guys. And the 3 gals that are watching. All right. So yeah, those are all the games I have that work good. Let me see. I will say this one weird thing. Forza 7, maybe because I have it purchased, it comes under others, and moving out comes under others as well when I divide this up on platform. I just thought that was odd, but because that should actually go into the Xbox stuff, but it doesn't. Okay, out of the box, it comes with Steam and Xbox. And then this EA and all that. If you go over here to content, game platforms, these are the platforms it comes with out of the box. Kind of really, I say comes with. Don't get confused. It's not actually preloaded on here. It's just a shortcut, like a desktop shortcut is on your PC in this Armoury crate. And you click on each one and then you finish installing it, log in and all that, right? Epic Games didn't come on here. It came with Xbox, EA app, Steam, and GOG. I don't use GOG. Windows devices, in my opinion, the least amount of apps you have in the background that is updating, the better. So if all you play games is from Steam, just operate with Steam. If you do Steam and Xbox, just do that. You inevitably, if you're doing Xbox, you get 3 months Xbox Pass, right? Ultimate. You're ultimately going to need EA because Xbox reaches out to EA. EA is free. So these are really the 3 main ones that you need on your device. Let's see if I can set this here. No, you can't see it too well when I do that. Okay. The 3 main ones that you'll need on here. The rest of them are just optional, right? But the less that you have, in my opinion, the less background noise is going on of auto updates for all these platforms, right? Okay, easy peasy. And then you saw that the lights here, LED lights, pretty freaking sweet, I actually think. It looks sweet. This is at 33%. You can actually change the brightness here, the LED brightness, to, what is that, 66, and then 100%. Hopefully you can notice them going brighter, and then back off, 33%, 66, so you can see it got lighter, then 100%, slightly brighter, right? I use just a 33%. It's just enough to add a little flash to it, little unicorn throw up here, as they say, as the youngsters say. I think it looks cool, but you can change the way they are if you want them all one solid color, if you want them rainbows. It's all in the settings here. Close that tab, hit B for back out, and let me see. You go to right here, Aura Sync. All right, oops, I'm not in camera. Aura Sync, and then you have Aura Effects, and then here you have all your settings you can play with. So easy peasy. All right. What else on this? Connections. When you first set up Windows and stuff on here, it's going to ask you for your Wi-Fi, so that's no big deal. You'll have that already going. But once you want to go to your Bluetooth settings, this is where it gets a little confusing to me sometimes. Maybe because it's not as intuitive, but I think I want to go here to pair things, right? But you don't actually go here to pair things. If you see where it says more Bluetooth settings, you can go here first, connection. This is showing you actually all the connections you have on here. So I have a Logitech K810 keyboard that I first used on here, that wireless controller over there, and these are not paired. These are probably different devices within my house, right? When I turn on, or when I plug in that other keyboard and stuff through here, it'll automatically show up in here. But if you want to pair something, you hit the Y and it goes to Windows. This is just your shortcut. You can, of course, go to pairing devices through Windows another way. But let me cancel that. Here you'll go to, for instance, I use my Larry's AirPods, right, all the time. Every time I go use my AirPods, I have to go over here and hit connect, so they'll connect up to it. And they'll stay connected to this device until you disconnect them to connect to another device, right? Makes sense. But it doesn't have that, Apple quick change pairing thing to where Apple recognizes when you plug in from your iPhone to your iPad or your laptop, right? So just keep that in mind. It's pretty simple, but then it's Windows, so you can close it out like that. Also, shortcut modes back here on the back. This bumper and this bumper work exactly the same. And I'll just show you what they do. So if you do, I'm holding down this bumper. Hold down this bumper, hit the D-pad up, it comes to your keyboard here. It's a mini keyboard that you can grab and move around. Or you click on that button and it goes to full-size keyboard. This is handy when you're starting to log in all your game apps there to upload. So nice and handy for that aspect of it. But it's also in the way. So I would actually pair up an external keyboard. I did it this way, but a lot of times I have to minimize it, move it around, because the app on the device, say like EA, is here in the middle, right? And you got to move this around and start using this to type in to fill in. And you want to see what the hell you're filling in, right? So that's kind of a pain. But anyway, if you do that again, it'll close it back out. Left stick, well, let me go back to, say, in here, right? So that and left stick, well, should go to the desktop. There you go, goes to the desktop. And then that shortcut again, it doesn't go back to where you were. So just to let you know, I'll just hit this one here for the Armoury crate. The shortcut for down will pull up your task manager. So if you want to close out some programs, boom, there you go, right? And then the right button is where you can switch your windows and stuff. So pretty handy. There's actually really handy shortcuts. So, all right, well, let me digress into something else on this rig. All right, so let's talk about some more of the features of this device. So, these two buttons here, these top two, the double window and the lines, is just like your Xbox controller. Exact same features as these two here. So they only operate when you're in game, right? But these other bottom two is this is your Armoury crate button right here. And then this is your quick command center, right? So this command center you can load up. I have it maxed out here, but you can load it up with whatever you really want. But to get there, you go to your Armoury crate, and then you see right here under settings, you already have all these command centers here. These are the ones you can add to there. Obviously I already have them on there, but yeah, you could delete the ones you don't want, customize, and add more to it. You can't rearrange. What I noticed here is you can't really rearrange these. I heard someone say that if you just go over here and delete all of them and then add them in the arrangement you want, then you can auto-populate. But it would have been nice update if you could just like click on one and let it highlight like it does on, say, an iPhone or something, or an Android, and then move it where you want in there. That would be a nice feature. So it'd be pretty cool if they added that in there. But you know, I digress. Right here, this is pretty handy. So silent mode, of course, is what I was saying before if you're doing some web browsing and stuff. Performance mode is really what you're going to use most of the time in your AAA titles. And then turbo when you're getting some lagging going on. Auto control mode, that is where it'll switch from, when you come over, it's FPS on. If you come over here to your Armoury crate, wait, what was the question here? Auto control mode. This is, let me go back over here. This is your controller configuration. It'll switch between gamepad and desktop mode automatically. I leave it on that. It's intuitive enough to figure out you're playing a game or if you're on the desktop mode. This is simple as that one. Oops, go back. And when you're in this mode, just hit B to back out, just like any kind of Xbox game would be. Pretty easy, intuitive. Let's see what else I wanted to talk about. So when you go to this auto control game profiles, it's just that it's gonna go over your same thing, your control mode here, which would be your profile per game. So if you're in a game, you can set your profiles, your dead zones and stuff per game. Let's see, go back. Keyboard, that just pulls up your keyboard here. If you didn't want to use the hotkeys that I already showed you, that's handy too. I actually used that quite a bit in the beginning because I didn't realize where they were. On-time monitor, that's what you saw right here popped up. You can actually click on it and move it wherever you want to. So some of the readouts in video games are up here in the top right hand corner, and I can't see my FPS, so I can move it around and see you know, put exactly where you want it, right? And I don't see that readout in the beginning when you first saw these reviews where it showed that it would go across the top of the screen or it would be in this block mode. It only seems to be in this block mode. Maybe it's in a different setting. Maybe it's in the AMD settings where if you turn on the AMD FPS counter and stuff, it would be across the top. I'm thinking that's what it must be. But as far as this goes, this is non-intrusive and you can grab it and move it where you want to. Go back, let's see. Real-time mode, I'll turn that off. FPS limiter, this is where you can limit your FPS between 15 FPS increments. I haven't noticed, honestly, any difference on that. I'll still see my real-time monitor showing a lot more FPS than what I show here to limit it. So I don't know that even works. Keyboard, of course, you saw that. Show desktop simply goes back to your desktop, just like you see there. Embedded controller. So this one is handy. So this is when you do hook up your Xbox controller and you want to use this, whether you're going out to another screen or you just want to use this controller. You click on embedded controller and that just disables these controls. So as you can see here, I can't use these controls. But if I was to turn on my Xbox here, controller, and it blinks, now you see, whoops, see that it gets connected here. Enable, embed it. Maybe I have to have it on first. Let me see. Oh, there it goes. Nope, did it go? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I got to be on the right screen for it. There you go. You see that you're working just off the controller itself. These won't work. So back, turn that off, and you still have this on. And now you're back to your onboard controllers. All right, brightness, already covered that. 120 refresh rate. This is good on the fly. You switch it between 60 and 120. I leave it at 120 because I bought a device to run it at 120 FPS. Most of your games do not run at 120 FPS, although, like I said, in turbo mode, a lot of them will hit it. And so I say most don't, but there are quite a few that will hit that, especially your smaller games, less graphical demanding ones. Take a screenshot, self-explanatory. 720 resolution and 1080p. I usually run this in 1080p. This, from what I understand, is just when it's exporting out to your monitor. This is what controls that. But I did find no, that's the way it worked for me too. AMDS RIS off, RIS off, or you'll see it switches between AMD RSR. So this is your pixelation of things, and this is your upscaling of your image. I always leave it on that because it'll take lower scaling games and upscale them up. See, game visuals is just that. You see it switched them in the background to a racing visual, a scenery visual, RTS, RPJ, FPS, cinema. And you can see how the screen changes, right? And oops, go back to eye care. Vivid, looks nice, default. If you want to look at these further, you can come over here to, of course, Armoury crates and look at game visuals, and same thing, racing, they're all here, right? Change the color, temperature, and all that. I usually just run in default. Games look beautiful in default. Of course, lighting is what I talked about earlier with the Armoury crates. Let me see. Yeah, we covered everything here pretty much on the command center. And audio is just that, your microphone modes. You can set here in your speaker modes as well. So all in all, this is a really powerful little system here. I like it. It's fun to use. It's intuitive. It's snappy. As you can see, every once in a while it bugs out though, I will say. Sometimes it doesn't want to move things around. For instance, when I'm in game library here and I'm trying to go up like this, sometimes it lags. Every once in a while it lags, but 98% of the time it's pretty dang snappy. So I like that. Every once in a while when it's uploading a new game, that you put on here, it takes a little bit for it to show, and other times it shows it before the game's even finished downloading. So just because you show it doesn't mean your game's actually downloaded. You want to go look at, you know, if it's completed. So in this instance, say, oh yeah, I'm under platform anyway. I'm gonna go over my Steam. Oh, okay. So let me launch, you know, one of these here, right? So let's launch Steam. Steam goes automatically to big picture mode, is what I noticed in the beginning. Every once in a while it doesn't. It goes into the, I guess, small picture mode, the PC mode rather. As you can see, this is how it goes. And here's your volume. As you can come up. Oh, speakers, by the way, are pretty loud. I like them. They sound good. This one actually, in this mode, you do have access to use your right stick, right? Or you can just use your thumbstick. You have this menu, this Xbox menu button down here. You can click on that and go here, or you can just keep hitting B until you come up with this setup. Now, I do want to point out something. When you add an SD card on Steam, all your other programs like Xbox, Epic, and all that will say, hey, where do you want to download it? Steam will automatically download it to the hard drive itself, right? The internal hard drive. But if you go over to, let me see, system, is it system? Downloads. It says on the Armoury crate that you need to go to downloads and you hit the plus sign to add another drive. Well, that doesn't work. Here it is right here, storage. So I went to storage to do that. Well, as you see here, there's no plus sign in here at all to add that. But I do have 2 drives there. So if I click on both ones, you see that I have actually multiple drives. But to get it to show a little plus sign here to add another drive, you need to exit big picture mode to do that. So I think maybe power, power, minimize, there it is. Power button, go over here to exit big picture mode. Now it goes into desktop mode, right? You can expand that out. Now, when you go over to your Steam and your settings, which I don't know if you have one of these, but I do recommend one of these little squishy, you know, selection tools, right? Because it makes it easier. But if you go over here and then go to where are you at? Storage. Now you see you have this plus sign right here on the top, right? That's the way to do it. It took me a little while to find that and was looking around on different YouTube videos. No one has it on the Asus, but I just figured it out eventually. Hey, I bet I need to exit out of big picture mode to show that option. Why Steam isn't smart enough to have that option in big picture mode, I don't know. But they're not. So that is how it is. All right, and then of course go back to big picture mode, you know, go back to the same. Well, actually you just hit this little button here and you're back into big picture mode. Reloads into big picture mode and you're ready to go. That's no problem with the Xbox or anything like that. All the other ones, they work just fine. You can run multiple ones at the same time, have different launchers up at the exact same time if you want to, not a problem. It seems to have plenty of RAM in the system to let her load multiple programs. I don't need the keyboard, so I'll shut that down. And then, of course, with Game Pass, and I have a ton of games on here, as you see, you know, 25-something games. Most of them, a lot of them are from Game Pass. I find that this Xbox thing is a little cumbersome to use with the actual D-pad and stuff, because, like, I can't, you know, you got to find where the hell it is on the screen, and then you can go back up to each one, right? So a lot of times I end up pulling out my stylus and then click on which ones I want to look at and hit play, or not play rather, to download and stuff. But it's just little nuances to PC stuff when you put a PC into a small handheld like this. All in all, you know, I've covered the basics of this system and covered what I liked, or aspects of this system and accessories and stuff. So let's get into the conclusion of this and close this video out. So, all right. Thanks for staying to the end. Conclusion, who is this rig for? Who's this handheld for? To me, it's for an adult. It's not for a kid. You wouldn't give this to your 10-year-old kid that's not very keen to PC stuff. They're used to iPhones or Android phones. You know, they probably can operate them better than you can at this point, right? But there's problems that come up when Windows that they just won't understand because they haven't had the experience with it yet, right? So I would say in the beginning, this is, you know, if you have the kiddos, stick to a Nintendo Switch. If you're an adult with adult size hands, no offense to those people that are adults that don't have big hands, but digress. You know, if you have a bigger handed person, right, this is a good device for you. It's a little bit smaller than the Steam Deck. I don't have a Steam Deck to compare, but just from all the reviews I've seen, you know, it's pretty obvious to see. When you see these side by side, the Steam Deck comes further out, has a little bit more of a controller style grip, like one of these controllers, which I like better. I think the Steam Deck will be more comfortable for bigger hand people. However, this machine is the latest and greatest, you know, 50% more powerful, they say, than the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck in the beginning had all its issues, so now people are comparing this from day one to a Steam Deck that's been out on the market for over a year. So not a fair comparison in that regard. But with that being said, I still picked this one because it's got the latest Wi-Fi. It's got the latest hardware in it. And I know the accessory department will grab grips and skins and all this stuff if you want to modify it and make it individually your own later on. I don't really have a problem with the white. You know, I got a white Xbox or PS5 controller here. It still looks fine after a few years of use, right? So I don't get the big deal with white. I mean, I do wear out the lettering back here, right, from my hands, and maybe sweat from your fingers and stuff. You wear that out, but other than that, who cares, man? This thing still looks pristine. Is that a scratch? Oh, I say pristine, but I got a scratch right there. Must have dropped it. But anyway, it still looks white, right? So I don't see the big deal about the white. It's nice and bright, but I could understand. I would want to put a skin on here just to kind of create this as my own type of device that shows my own personality, right? And I think that's probably what they figure too. Is most people are gonna get some skins and put on this device. So why not go to the cheapest manufacturable color, which is white, all right, to keep costs down. But yeah, all in all, for a person like me that does a lot of traveling, I want to dock it up to a system. And I didn't show you how to dock it up. It's pretty easy. I did go through the explanation of it, but it works flawlessly. That you want to dock it up when you get to your hotel or you're out of town, you're on vacation, the kids are downstairs playing, you're tired, and it's at night, and usually I just want to play some Call of Duty. This is the device for you. You can dock it up to your TV, play some COD or other racing games and stuff that you want to play when you're out of town, and have a blast, right? So bring a little bit of home back with you when you're out. Well, like me, I'm out on business trips and stuff, so this makes it really nice to be able to have some toys to play with that I normally would play with on a bigger screen, say at home, right? Also, if you're a couch potato, well, I'm not a couch potato, I'm actually a very active person, but at night I sometimes feel guilty about going to my sim room over here and playing games, and I really get tired of sitting at a desk or in a racing seat and playing games, right? And I would like to just kick back and relax. I don't play games in my bed. Bed is for bedtime activities and not playing games. So I keep that out of my bedroom. But on the couch, it's nice to be able to sit there. Wife's sitting next to me. She's doing her thing. We're still in the same room. We still can stop and communicate with each other when we need be. And yeah, it makes for gaming fun. Battery use out of this thing, yes, they're all right. You get anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours. Now I'll play, let me see. I can play Rush Rally Origins. That one I played an hour and a half. Not as intensive as, say, Grid Autosport. So not a AAA title, but looks amazing on here, and it's super blast to play. So keep that in mind. If I'm on a plane, I'm probably gonna play a little bit mixture of both because I'm gonna have my backup battery with me. But yeah, it's really good. If you want to plug it into an outlet, you're close to an outlet, yeah. If you're a kid that goes to the park and expects to be able to play this for 2 hours out at the park, then no, right? For one, you're at a park. Go play at the park, okay? But yeah, this is this is an adult-owned machine is what I think. Battery life, yeah, it could be better. Don't really care. I have a power outlet close enough to me. Only concern was when I was flying on the plane. Then I did, of course, need to invest in a battery, right, to extend my life when I'm on these 10-hour flights. So that is a pity, but it's fine. And you can't really plug this into the power on the plane because the plane only has USB power. It won't be enough power to charge this device. So yeah, that is how it is. But all in all, a great machine, very powerful, pretty damn comfortable. The only downside on this machine would be battery life. These thumbsticks are a little too light for me. I wish they were heavier for me as far as that goes. So when you're trying to do little inputs for, say, a shooter like Battlefield, I was playing Battlefield, I just got owned on Battlefield. I couldn't, for one, the screen's too small. So I gotta put on my glasses to see that, right? So something where you're doing competitive play like Battlefield or Call of Duty and stuff, I suggest to project it to a bigger screen. The play on this screen for older eyes, no. But racing games and all that, they come in nice, big and bright, and you don't have to see the little bitty pixels across the screen that you get sniped on, right? So to me, this isn't that great. If you're a younger person or someone with 20/20 vision, then you're probably fine. Sound wise, I can play this out of my speakers all day long and don't really need headphones. I'm fine with it. Although my wife would complain, so I use my AirPods, right? Because I am sitting next to you know, her in the living room playing this. So yeah, I can hook up my existing AirPods. It's a PC. You can do anything with these things. Light wise, it's pretty light to put in my backpack. When I travel, I'm carrying a big 16-inch Dell that's very heavy. The brick for it is very heavy, and so with this, at least, this is way lighter than carrying a MacBook Air or something, or well, you wouldn't even game with those. Those suck for gaming. So another Asus gaming laptop. You know, this is lighter, smaller form to fit in your bag. And then, you know, yeah, when you carry your charger and stuff, you can put that in your bag and be fine with it. I actually will throw this in my big duffel bag, but I'll carry this one in here. This is as heavy as this. So it's like carrying two devices, really. But yeah, it's still lighter than a laptop for sure. And with the power bank that you need for a laptop. Now, one question that came up in my mind is why not buy a laptop? Because for actually at the time of this device, conclusion wise, is that laptops cost just slightly more, and I could have a laptop for not much more. But then I got to carry around a controller with the laptop as well. Laptop gets hot in your lap, and the batteries on them are a pity as well. You only get an hour to 2 hours out of a laptop battery if you're gaming anyway. So, and really laptops for games work best plugged in to be able to get the high fidelity for, say, a 15-inch screen or 16-inch screen laptop. So you're doing the same roundabout, right? This is just still a lighter form factor. So yeah, I would recommend this for anybody in a situation like me where you travel and you want to sit around on your couch and game, or if you're out grocery shopping or something and you sit in the car while your wife goes in grocery shopping, you can sit out there and play. Yeah, it's good for that too. So yeah, all in all, oh, by the way, this video, I should have probably said it in the very beginning, but this was not sponsored by Asus. I bought this with my own money. I don't really care if you buy it or not, but I'm just giving you my opinions of it. I like it. I'm gonna keep rocking it. So till then, we'll see you next time. I'm out.